I guess Doom is pretty cool, but because it actually has to make money, it can't do stuff like this. Free games on Itchio don't have a greedy publisher breathing down the necks of developers, which allows for much more experimental games. Here are the top 10 free FPS games on Itchio you don't know about. Randompunk 2077 is basically Cyberpunk 2077, but a lot more random and arguably a better game. The game is sort of a roguelike, although you play through the same level every time but complete a variety of different objectives. Every run you get a randomly generated weapon, traits which are like passives, and some kind of active ability. The hilarity comes from which combination of abilities you get, as some of them are good while others are just random or straight up bad, like being drunk. Based on your current build, you have to change up how you fight or avoid enemies. There's different pickups like health, ammo, and RTX 3080 graphics cards. No, I won't explain what those do. If you're looking for a hilariously random FPS game, then I recommend Randompunk 2077. The Nightmares at the Krusty Krab is an FPS horror game where you play as SpongeBob. The shooting aspect is very bad as there's only one slug enemy that's extremely slow, which actually makes sense now that I think about it. But trying to get all 5 endings is the fun part. Scattered around the map are different objectives you have to complete to unlock one of the 5 endings. I don't want to spoil them all, but one involves you fighting a giant robot plankton, and another has you drunk driving a car on a windy road. If you're looking for a SpongeBob FPS you didn't know you needed, then I recommend The Nightmares at the Krusty Krab. Inchain is a retro platformer where you grapple, swing, and impale enemies with your lantern hook. Combat is tied together with the movement, as you'll be hitting and juggling enemies with your lantern to kill them. Your lantern can grapple onto wood, which allows for fluid movement when combined with the rest of your movement abilities. The enemy design is varied, and some enemies have to be killed in unique ways. The game is structured as one big intertwined level with checkpoints spread far away from one another. You'll have to find keys scattered around to unlock doors to the next area, revealing more enemies and challenges. If you're looking for a game that seamlessly ties together movement and combat, then I recommend Inchain. Final Shot is a permadeath FPS where the only way to reload is to rewind time. The game plays like a fast-paced arena shooter, as you have to constantly be on the move to not get hit. The catch is that you can rewind time to move your character's position back to where it was a few seconds ago. This reloads your weapon and restores whatever damage you took in those few seconds. After each round, you get to pick from one of 3 upgrades and occasionally a new weapon. My one complaint is that if you survive long enough, you become too powerful, which makes the game easy because of the new weapons and buffs, but that's only if you're really good like me. There's several enemy types that move and attack in different ways, as well as 3 maps, so the game has a lot of replay value. If you're looking for a fast-paced arena shooter with a unique rewind mechanic, then I recommend Final Shot. Ask is a fast-paced Quake-inspired FPS set on a hostile planet populated by a variety of bloody creatures. Your movement speed is very fast yet weighty, which feels amazing to control. You never have to reload as long as you have bullets, which lends itself to the game's fast pace. You gain access to 3 different guns throughout the game. The assault rifle, which is good for long-range precision, the shotgun, which deals massive damage at close range, and the plasma gun, which is very powerful, but the bullets move slower. The levels are large and interconnected, having you fight through rooms of enemies in search of a key you need to progress. The variety of enemies and level layouts keep combat fresh. If you're looking for a fast-paced exploratory shooter with exceptional movement and gunplay, then I recommend Ask. Ancient Swarm is an endless wave-based shooter set in an Egyptian temple where you fight waves of ancient enemies. It's very arcadey as the guns don't have much kick, but gunplay is still satisfying because of how the enemies react. Killing enemies gets you credits, which you spend on unlocking doors and getting better weapons. The catacombs are surprisingly large and have way more weapons than you'd expect. The enemies are pretty simple, as there are skeletons and mummies that chase you, along with crawler variants, though there are a few larger enemies that are a welcome challenge. I was having a lot of fun until I unceremoniously killed myself with a grenade launcher.
Tripping, bro. You tripping!
Either way, if you're looking for an arcadey wave-based shooter with a vast amount of weapons, then I recommend Ancient Swarm. Netscape Cybermind is an action FPS where you play as a hacker stealing files from a corporate server in the early internet. The game is exceptionally stylish as it looks like the Matrix crossed with 90s internet. Gameplay consists of platforming through the large linear levels as you fight through enemies with the goal of hitting a button at the end that puts you into the next server. You can grapple onto hook points that pull you forward, which is always satisfying. Guns are unlocked as you play, although the shotgun type weapons are very overpowered since they one-shot kill everything at any range. New enemies are introduced in every level, but they're very easy to kill because of their stupid AI. If you're looking for a stylish Matrix-like shooter with fun movement, then I recommend Netscape Cybermind. Red-Handed is an FPS puzzle game where you have to get caught in order to kill all of the guards. Each level is structured as a puzzle where you're given a certain amount of bullets, but there are often more guards than you have bullets. You have to kill all the guards before the timer runs out. You kill them by shooting them, kicking them into other guards, breaking glass, going invisible so you can make the first move, performing a drop-down kill, or taking a guard hostage, which allows you to move before kicking them. If you're looking for a short FPS puzzle game, then I recommend Red-Handed. The Whitetail Incident is a horror FPS where you venture into a forest full of evil cultists in search of your friend. You stumble upon a cult who's in the middle of performing a ritual. The cult, not wanting you to save your friend, tries to kill you. Although the cult members are easy to kill, they keep you on the move as you run around searching for the limited supply of shotgun ammo scattered around the forest. If you're looking for a short horror FPS with some tense chases, then I recommend The Whitetail Incident. Lab v3 is a Doom-inspired FPS set in a mutant-filled laboratory. There's a good variety of weapons with a few unconventional ones like this bouncy gun and an organic gun that shoots homing bugs out of it. New enemies are introduced in tandem with new weapons, which keeps you on your toes as you figure out which weapons are best for what scenarios. Scattered around levels are health, ammo, and armor pickups that you'll want to look out for, as well as keycards to unlock doors. If you're looking for a retro shooter with a new spin on the genre, then I recommend Lab v3. Those were the top 10 free FPS games on Itchio you didn't know about. I'll have my playlist of free Itchio games you don't know about linked in the description, as well as my video about free shooters on Itchio. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with this ongoing series.